I'm
All
going
right.
to do this real quick while we're waiting. Everything over real quick. All right, we're good.
Yep, we're good.
What's up, Nomad Nation? It is us, the three amigos. Once again, you got Kaiser Chungus, Godfather, and of course myself, Fireball, back at it again with another episode of the Nomad Gamers podcast. Today, we got just a little bit going on, but before we jump into industry news, let's talk about our socials real quick. Do the shameless plug in the beginning and get it out of the way so we don't have to do it again. For those who are watching us on YouTube, I really do appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. If you really, really enjoy our content, hit that bell button so you know when we post next. For those watching on Facebook, do we have an update on what we got on Facebook?
I think we're still at 90.
Still at 90? We need 10 more.
Well, I'm getting one right now. Hang on.
We'll continue on. We'll circle back around to it.
We'll circle back around to it.
Yeah, we'll
But
circle back. Yeah, I'll just cut in and let you know.
um, those who are watching our on our personal socials, like mine or Godfather's, we really do appreciate it. Our personal socials help us grow the big brand, and so that way we can get the big brand off the ground. But if you really do enjoy it, and you see us on on our private
Don't give them
socials,
the option. Just share it. Don't give them the option. Do it.
you're not the one bringing us in today, Godfather. I am. So shut it.
Too bad. We're at
But
90 followers.
we're still at 90 followers. Okay. But if you're watching us on our auxiliary socials, or if you're watching us on our personal socials, please go over and follow us on the Nomad Gamers Facebook, YouTube, wherever. Once we hit a certain threshold, we can start expanding some more. I don't got anything else. Anybody else got anything else?
I think that's it.
Nope.
That's it for
Shameless
the
plug.
thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been quite a
Spit it
minute
out,
since we
Junior.
did this.
Spit it out.
Today, Junior.
It's been a while since we did this. It feels
It's
like it,
been
at least.
5 days.
Yeah, it feels like a while. Well, starting us off, does anybody got anything they want to start us off with industry news wise? I know the Nintendo Switch 2 finally made their release.
Finally,
Yeah.
that thing is blowing it out of the water.
Yeah, that's the one way to say it.
Mm-hmm. That is one way to say
It
it.
is. I mean, it's okay. Man, tell me all the bad stuff you've been hearing.
You
Um,
want to start us off with that fireball?
well, start us off. I've been hearing stuff about, you know, I think it was like when trying to like buy new like Joy Cons or trying to like buy a game or something, or let's say you bought a used game, you could brick your Switch 2 easily because the voltage in it could be different. Like if like a
Wait a minute.
game
Wait a minute. That doesn't even make sense. You're talking about games
or
and a
hold on, hold on,
Joy-Con.
hold on. I'm still going. Or let's say
Okay.
because the Switch 2 is what USB C.
So I'm just gonna just say don't stop beating around the bush. The way that they have built the Switch 2 with the chipset inside the system, any third-party controllers, Joy Cons, USB Cs, even a damaged game cartridge, i.e., like just one that's old, if it shoots out the wrong voltage into the system, the entire system is bricked. It is no longer. It does not work. It is nigh almost unrepairable. It's that bad. Like you
Mhm.
can't if you get stick drift and the Joy-Con throws just the wrong voltage, even if it's a Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo appropriated Joy-Con, it could still brick the console. This is the least consumer friendly console that is released.
But it's the one that's made uh the company the most money.
It absolutely has moved about 3 million units, with a good amount of them being returned.
About,
With
about
the addition of the screen, hold on,
20, about
with
24 hours.
with the addition of their screen being worse than a mobile phone, as in like the tier of scratch resistance or anything like that, a soft piece of plastic could scratch the screen.
I've been hearing stuff about people buying Switch 2s from GameStop where they like staple the receipt onto the
Yes.
To the
box,
box,
and the staple will go through the box and hit the screen, and then it breaks the screen.
punctures the screen.
Mm-hmm. That's insane. I mean, honestly, I don't really know. I don't really know how else to say it. This, like you said, Chungus, the Switch 2 is very non-user friendly or non-consumer friendly.
Well, where are you getting this from? Remember, we only state facts on this podcast, so we need to know where this is coming from, not from we heard this. Because like right now, I am going onto the internet and I'm just searching Switch 2 problems, and I have yet to come up with this whole Joy-Con thing. I'm right now on Nintendo Life trying to track down what you guys are talking about because I've been following this issue very closely since it dropped on Thursday. The only thing that I can say that I have seen widely reported was GameStop being morons and stapling through the front display. The other thing that I have been hearing and I have been seeing is that they are overheating, that they didn't build the docking station correctly. One person, because I'm on multiple sites on Facebook where I'm getting actual feedback from gamers, is once they turned uh, the internet off, it seemed like it saved the battery. It went with the with the internet on. It went from 100 to 34 in, I think they said just over an hour. They charged it back up, turned the internet off, and in that same amount of time, it just dropped to 74. The other complaint out there is the open worldness of Mario Kart World. So right now, I'm not seeing a lot of performance issues, but what I am seeing is a lot of complaints from the Nintendo Society, and I'll just say society or group, that they're not in love with the battery life with the internet. They're not in love with the design of the docking station because they say that their switches are getting very hot. But I have
So
not heard of anyone's switch
to
being bricked yet.
Thank you,
so
Chungus.
to give you perspective, this is not just one source. We are seeing multitudes of posts from people proving that they have bought the Switch 2, explaining these issues. We have YouTubers who have done tech reviews on the Switch 2, durability tests on the Switch 2. These you I could give you this links right now if you would like to sit here and watch the 30 plus minute videos on these issues. It's not just one source. I'm not just going off pick cherry
Well,
picking
that's what I'm
anything
saying
and
too.
bringing it.
I'm not going off of one source.
Yeah,
I'm
but
going off of multiple, and I'm just
Right,
saying I haven't heard this yet. And these aren't tech guys; these are actual users. These are everyday people
mhm.
right.
who just
These
went out, bought the
But
system. Hold on, they went out, they bought the system, they plugged the system in, and they have been gaming. They have been using it. Now, I did not go and look for any tech reviews.
Hmm.
I wanted to see what the normal Joe had to say about it. And right now, the normal Joe, they do have their complaints about it, like we have complaints about everything. But for the most part,
Well,
I've only heard of one Switch being returned. That's it.
and
I've seen a lot of misinformation out there about one dude picking one up at a pawn store, and we clearly know that he didn't because the painting on the parking lot behind him indicates that it came from Target.
well, and like Chungus says, I've seen multiple sources of people posting videos on social media, i.e., Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Again, like you said, normal everyday people
It's
playing
not
the
just tech
Switch.
reviewers, because
That's not just tech
I did
reviewers
state people who have
stating.
bought the console and used it already, and tech reviewers. I'm saying both of them have found issues.
And even then, I have seen videos of not even 24 hours later having stick drift in their Joy Cons. I've also seen the same thing you talk about how they can't have their battery off the dockings.
It's like a 3-hour battery life with playing games.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty bad.
I mean,
Well, guess what? You're going to find the same issues with PlayStation and Xbox
WTM.
when they first come out.
What does WTM mean?
What do you
I'm
in
sorry.
what stance?
I
Yeah,
got somebody who said WTM on my chat on TikTok. So I'm just trying to figure out
I
what.
don't.
Well, why don't you ask them what
I
they
know
mean?
that's me asking them. What does WTM mean? I
I was like,
can't.
just reply back to them. You have a phone?
But what I was saying though is, again, there are a lot of people, and I would say I've seen more bad reviews on social media. What's the move? Oh, okay. We're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 right now, and how it dropped on Thursday, and we're kind of doing a review that we've seen ourselves. We haven't really gotten Nintendo Switch 2 yet,
I
but
won't be purchasing
if
one.
if
Nintendo
you look back at
Nintendo's now
our
on my shit list for the rest of all time.
if you look back to our previous episodes, we've been kind of covering this up until the drop. So this is us kind of trying to go over everything that we have seen firsthand on social media and stuff like that, and talking about it here.
Here we go.
But back to what I was saying though. Again, 2 to 3 hour battery life. Again, you're right. GameStop kind of stapling the.
GameStops are idiot. They're idiots for that. That's not even.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
But I will
Hold
state
on.
that
Real
does
quick.
good.
Kyle says in chat, he said, this shit mad expensive. Sonic Cross Worlds is better than Mario Kart World.
Oh, that's blasphemy.
I mean, I've seen good. I mean, I've seen good and bad things
Sonic
about
has never been and never will be better than Mario in anything.
this. That's just a fanboy talking, Kyle. I mean, our opinions all are valid here, so we can't really. You can't really not discriminate against God's Father. But back to what we were saying. Were you gonna say something, Chungus, or am I keeping on going?
No, just keep on going. You're good.
Um, I have seen. I've already seen people say that already show that they've got bricked switches as well, just because of the stick drift and the Joy Cons. And then when they go to take it back, they're when they go to take it back to where they bought it and say, "Hey, I would like to return it because it's not working anymore." They said, "Well, you signed the user agreement. You're stuck with it."
That's not true in and of itself, because
No,
one,
it's not.
when you first buy, like, you have a warranty, you have to go through Nintendo to get that fixed. You can't go to anybody else. You can't go back to the store because you're returning a damaged product. They can't take that back.
Yeah, that's fair. But again, that I mean,
Even if it's on them, you have to go through warranty through Nintendo.
that's the stuff that I've seen so far. I mean, if you guys have seen something else,
Yeah,
I'd like to hear what you guys said. And if and the people in the comments, if you guys have seen something about the Nintendo Switch 2 and you want to put it in the chat and I'll read it for you guys, then go ahead and do that. But I'll
Okay, here
let
we go. Hang
Godfather
on.
and Chungus talk.
I'm on Nintendo Switch community on Facebook. Okay, this is where I've been getting most of my information. I'm going to read some of these off for you. I'm not going to name names because they are not a part of Nomad Gamers, but I will read verbatim what they have. The battery life is something to get used to. coming from the OLED, I understand why so no complaints. The system is fantastic. That is one person. The YouTube app is not working. Well, no shit. Go get a goddamn laptop. Not an issue. Why would I want to watch YouTube on my Switch? I have a TV at home and a phone with me otherwise. It's a gaming console, not a streaming device. Then there's like 30 comments. I'm not going to go into all those. Honestly, I'm just a bit miffed. The dock isn't backwards compatible with the Switch One. Seems like a missed opportunity to make life a little easier. I've been hearing a lot of that lately with this. Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz won't stay connected, so have to be on 2.4. Uh, I've had surround issues as well. I'm thinking he means surround sound issues. Randomly started working this afternoon, but it's hit or miss. EARC to a 7.1 system forced the switch into a 5.1 mode and still no dice. I am sure it'll be solved in a firmware update. Uh, Switch 2 got concernably hot. I've heard a lot of that
Of it overheating.
when transferring data. Yeah, transferring data and downloading those games. Hope that's a one-time thing. It is not. I've heard multiple complaints about that. Here's one that will give us a little bit more. It's a sloppy mess. The software update that created this absolutely stupid virtual digital cards has completely ruined families from playing the same titles at the same time from the one digital purchase. I already pay for the family online membership. I already bought multiple consoles. Why would they do this to us? Now that I have the Switch 2 that makes it three Nintendo consoles, but even with their stupid virtual digital garbage, it only lets us sync to two Switches together to share the stupid virtual cards, which renders my third Switch absolutely useless. I have heard a lot of that. I'm not going to go through all of them, but one problem or no problems here, no issues so far. Need more Nintendo games at launch. That's a stupid comment because they've got plenty of them.
Not, I
I
mean,
haven't had any issues yet. Mario Kart has audio issues, and that is the end of them. Just a little bit of,
Cool.
just a small
So
sample that I'm
here's a
putting out
bigger
there.
sample from you want my sources. I'll give them right at the end as well. Um, so I can go into detail with these issues as well. Button lag on wake up when you wake up the switch. So when you're waking up the console from sleep, there's been a bunch of players reporting that the button inputs, especially the A button, are delayed up to 2 seconds. That's not like super, you know, and a
That's
super
almost
issue. That's
nothing.
something that's firmware update. Probably something wrong with that on that end. But again, this is due to the fact that they didn't allow individuals to have access to, or I say individuals, i.e., tech reviewers, have early access to the console to actually give a review out, which would have probably stopped a lot of people from purchasing it until it was fixed. I just want to point that out there. They did not do an early dev kit put out to these people to review like they usually do, like every other company does. Just want to make that fact known. Motion handling and frame tearing. Reviewers have been testing Cyberpunk 2077, F-Zero MX, and Call of Duty Blackout Protocol. Um, some experience they experience micro stutters, motion blur artifacts like after the fact, like it shouldn't be doing it anymore, and even screen tearing. And it's in high speed or high action heavy segments,
well, I also want to
which
state
it's
this.
supposed to boast upgraded refresh
Hold on,
handling
Fireball.
and then like adaptive sync and all that. But clearly, it's not performing up to what they have promised, which is always an issue with every company. I'm not going to just knock Nintendo for it. But however, again, going back to the fact that they didn't allow any tech reviews before launch really kind of solidifies that they were trying to hide some stuff. That's all it feels like. A third biggest issue is Joy-Con drift. They stuck with the same analog stick design as the original stick Switch, which still leads to the same thing. Um, And just I don't know if you guys know what the Hall effect sticks are for like the Steam Deck and other handheld
Hmm.
devices like that, which are not as prone to stick drift. I don't know, it's always an issue. Like, why not upgrade your system to get rid of that issue? Why have the same issues from previous generation, from 27, from almost 10 years ago?
Can I
Um,
can I state what I was going to state real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
And I will state this, you're talking about, yeah, the fact that the Switch 2 can now launch Cyberpunk 2077 and some of these bigger games that were on console that you couldn't play on the Switch 1. The Switch 2 was almost the same price as a lower hand PS5 or a lower hand Xbox Series S. If you wanted to play a big game like that, why not just go out and get one of those consoles instead? Because you were going to be able to play it better with the performance package that both PlayStation and Xbox have over the Switch.
And you
I'll tell you
can't
one reason why.
and you can't take because of portability, because having a 3 hour battery life, that's not very portable on long
No,
distance trips or anything of that nature.
no, I'll tell you probably the main reason why this happens.
And here's another question I have.
Well,
Nintendo, hold on. Nintendo has that the exclusivity of Mario and the Mario games.
Mario and Pokemon.
And there's certain people out there, yeah, there's certain people out there who are addicted to Mario and Pokemon that they don't want to have another console to play these higher games. And my thought is my thought on it is this is if you thought the Switch 2 was going to perform like a PS5 or an Xbox or even a low grade PC, you've been fooling yourself.
but
You just
why
have been
shouldn't it? Why can't it? Why don't they?
because it's Nintendo to come out with this blockbuster system. I love the Switch. Okay, I love Mario Kart. I love Mario. Everybody knows this. However, I knew from the beginning. I knew as soon as they announced the Switch 2 that this Switch was not going to be competing with the PlayStation 5 or with the Xbox. Now, the part that concerns me, and launch day proved this, is I was concerned about the price. Over $400 is very steep. The $80 per game and not even getting a physical copy of the damn game, that's
And you don't own
also
it.
steep.
You don't
No,
own it, by the way.
that is steep. Okay. But to sit here and say we have to hold these people accountable, but yet Nintendo is breaking records for launch day. I saw photos, multiple photos from the same place from different people where the damn line was wrapped around the building and snaking through the parking lot. And this was not in a big city, by the way. I want to point that out. This was not a major metropolitan. It wasn't New York, Chicago, LA, or any of these other cities that you would say are huge. This was not a huge city, and they were doing it. I know in our
No
local
matter
area, boys, they had lines going out the door for a
no matter
pre-sale.
how successful, how many copies, how many things they sell is not indicative of it being a quality product.
No, and okay.
That's what I'm talking
So
about. I don't care how many they sell. They could sell another million. They could sell a billion of these consoles, and I still would not care if it's still performing
well,
at this level.
it comes,
We're yeah,
Chungus, it comes down to this, okay? Is number one, Fireball, myself, and you have always said we need to hold these guys accountable.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
This is the perfect time to hold a company accountable. And the damn fanboys pissed the bed.
Mm-hmm.
yep.
They
And we
did.
kind of, I mean, we did state that it was that we already knew.
I
We
and
already
We
I
knew
knew
it
they
was
were
going
going
to
to.
expected
happen.
this.
Yeah, we already knew it was going to happen. People that are diehard fans
And
of these consoles, and again, this doesn't go just for Nintendo. This goes for Xbox. This goes for
no,
PlayStation.
it goes for all of them.
Yeah, it goes for all consoles and even
Yeah,
PCs. That you're going to have these diehard fans that are going to lick the ground that these companies walk
yep,
on because they like have nothing else to really compare to, or they're just diehard fans until they die. I mean,
I
there's.
I am a die I I am a diehard fan of Mario. You two know this.
Mhm.
However, and I will state this on air, I have no plans in getting the Switch 2. Zero. And for me to say that, and as much as I love Mario Kart, as much as I love having Mario Kart nights here in the Shire with you two, Sweet Kitty Pie, and whoever else I can get over here, and as much as I yearn to have more than 4 players, I cannot justify the price for the excuse me, for the Switch 2 or the games just to literally play it for one game. I
Mhm.
can't justify that. I just can't. And if I want to play Call of Duty or if I want to play any of these other titles that are on the PC, PlayStation, or the Xbox, then damn, I'm just going to go over to Xbox or PC. I already know those systems are more powerful than the Switch.
Again, and then
But
this
So
also.
all these people, this is what pisses me off is everybody bashes on a system that they are expecting. First, you're stupid for expecting that this was going to be as powerful as the PS5 because let's face it, Nintendo has always been lacking in the consoles. Always. The Wii could not stand up to the Xbox or the PlayStation. The DS could not stand up against the others. The last system that they had that could stand up to the PlayStation or the Xbox, I think Xbox was out, it just wasn't very popular yet, was the uh god damn it, the one that came out in 99. Nintendo
64.
fuck. Yeah, Nintendo 64. Thank you, Fireball. That was the last console I could say that went head to head with those systems.
Well,
They're behind the 8 ball and they have been for decades.
I understand where you're coming from when you say this, Godfather. But the thing is they marketed on saying, "Hey, we can now play these higher rated games. You can play Cyberpunk. You can play, um,
well, they're not wrong. You can play them, but they have their issues.
mhm.
Yeah.
There's an asterisk there that they didn't show.
I mean,
Like I do get the point. Like for me, it's more of a they've been behind for so long. This would have been the perfect opportunity to prove that they are able to actually still go with the motion. And
And
while
they
yes,
can't.
we knew they have their little island that's secure with all their exclusives, they'll be fine even if something like this were to happen, which again, we all knew. I mean, we've been talking about it for weeks now. Is like, yeah, they're going to be fine. They're going to make a profit still, but it doesn't mean that we still can't critique them. And it doesn't like I expected more out of the Switch 2. I'm not going to lie to you. Did I expect the same levels as a PS5 or Xbox Series X? No. But what I expected was something that actually was more akin to a home console with some sort of battery life. But the fact of the matter is, a 3 hour battery life is kind of crazy. That's not even worthwhile to be a handheld at that point. You literally
No.
have to keep it in the dock station. And at that point, they should have just made a more powerful home console. That's where
Yeah.
I'm at with it.
Mhm.
There's so
I
many
agree
things they
with
could
Chungus
have
on that.
done on top of the fact of them being so anti-consumer. Like you don't own the Switch 2. They can fucking revoke your access to it if they wanted to. You don't own a single
Yeah, that's
game you'll
bullshit.
purchase. On top of the fact that to get all the legacy Switch games onto the Switch 2, you got to pay a hefty fucking price for it. On top of the fact that they don't even offer any increased performance. It's just those games again.
Can I make a prediction?
Yeah.
So the first time that they brick a US player, and if it's the right US player, I am very interested to see what that lawsuit looks like. Because it will happen. I guarantee it will happen.
Well, it's gonna happen
When
because
is
of how go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
the only question is when? When are they going to brick somebody actually brick? We're not talking about the system breaking down. We're talking Nintendo
Yeah.
going out and hitting that virtual off switch. Okay?
It's gonna happen the moment
Whenever
somebody
that
tries to mod
happens,
it or anything. I
yep,
guarantee you.
somebody is going to go out and get themselves a high price lawyer and go after Nintendo. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, I think that's why, and
Whether they sign the agreement or not, it's going to happen.
yeah, and that's why I don't know. a lot of people will be dead in the water, and I'm no lawyer, so I don't know anything. This is all speculation for me. But again, signing that user agreement kind of, if you sign that user agreement, I feel like you're kind of screwed because you don't read the user agreement.
You are, but you're
No,
not.
you legal vocabulary is very loophole filled. There are ways around a user agreement, user end user license agreement. Um, you could, the language itself wasn't very clear and cut, so to a T, you can find ways around it and in itself. But for the sheer fact of thing, you can't even like you going in to fix your own system, which you can do with the Xbox or the PlayStation, more easily because it's so the whole uh getting like you fucking ward the warranty by doing this yourself. That's fine and dandy for the Switch because it's an industry standard, right? um but the fact of the matter that it's just that much more difficult to repair your own systems is kind of crazy to me. Like for the Switch 2, the internals are tight packed, packed tightly, with glue, tamper stickers, and all that. And even the components are just kind of hard to replace in and of themselves. And forget about trying to fix the Joy-Con issue. Because even if you try to fix it, you'll have to basically replace the whole Joy-Con, so you might as well buy another one. But you have to make sure you buy Nintendo branded ones because it could brick the system if you buy from third party sellers. It has to the voltage has to be to such a standard form that if it's just off by a little bit, boom, system gone. And that's ridiculous to me. That's insanity.
That is ridiculous to me too.
Well, here's the other thing too. Yeah, I agree with Chungus on this one. Uh, but here, I want to make sure everyone understands this, okay? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there right now thinking to themselves with a question: I- If God's Father says that they're going to be going to court over this, then why haven't they stepped in and done something? Courts are not going to step in. The consumer, if you live in America, the United States of America, and even Europe, the European Union, they're not going to step in with their consumer protections until they get that first complaint, until you bring it to their
You got to
doorstep.
express your
Because
rights.
any company out there can say whatever they want. People are going to sign it because they want to play that game or they want to use that product. Until the company enforces it, somebody says, hey, this is too much. They get a lawyer, they go to court, to the consumer protection, and then the consumer protection goes, oh, by the way, Nintendo, we don't like this. You are going to turn on all of these switches. You are going to do this. You are going to do that. And by the way, we don't care what you think.
Otherwise, you're not going to have access to
If you,
this
if
market.
Well, that they're making them pay a
exactly,
hefty fine too.
Hmm.
yes, exact. So all their profits go poof. So right now we are in a wait and see game. I'm very interested to see how long it takes for the first lawsuit or the first actual Nintendo shutting off a system. Here soon, I think you might have a lawsuit over, or it could come from third party vendors who make their living on making controllers for the Switch. There's a lot of companies out there that have very nice controllers for the Switch One who now all of a sudden are cut out of the market,
There
who could
was
go to court and say this ain't right.
there was something really cool I saw on a third, like it was a third party it was a third party aftermarket product where you could like take off a Joy-Con, slide in a fold holder, and then slide in the Joy-Con on the side, and it could charge your phone.
Yeah,
I wonder if you can't use that now either because
you
it'll
wouldn't.
break the device.
Mm-mm.
You literally anything that's not to the standard of the Switch 2's volt output could brick it. It's a high possibility. Again, like you have a cartridge that went through the wash, but the internals dried out, but you can still use the cartridge. There's a chance that each time you take it out and put it in, could brick the system because it could throw an off signal. Anything could brick this. You put it in the charger wrong, it could brick the system. That's the issue. It doesn't it doesn't matter. Like that's why even third party shit doesn't even matter. Like you could
Well,
put it in wrong
and
and it just bricks the system.
okay, so let me correct you on something there, Chungus,
Hmm.
or correct myself actually. Breaking the system. Okay, if you like what Chungus just got done saying, if you put it into the charger wrong and it bricks it, Nintendo's off the hook in a sense. As a handheld device and as an industry, I would hope that their handheld device would be a little bit more sturdy and not so fragile.
Well,
Okay, because
Hold on.
it is a handheld device.
Hmm.
However, the Joy Cons and all this other stuff that I just put it back onto the Switch and it bricked my system. Like I did not do anything negligent to that system. Nintendo, you could be on the hook.
well, and that's like,
And let's face it, not everyone's going to wear kid gloves
No,
putting this thing. Nintendos are made for kids. They're made for kids between the ages of, I would say, and I'm going
probably
kind of
6
low
or
here,
older.
5
Yeah,
and up.
yeah.
Okay.
Some of those games are pretty, yeah, for younger
and
individuals.
Yeah.
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 like like you said, talking about the whole charging port thing, and this is something else that I could see going desperately wrong is, you know, the Switch works on USB-C, correct? Type C.
Yep.
A lot of phones are on Type C now. So like, let's say,
Not the same voltage. You could, yes, you
right,
could brick them.
this is where I'm going with it is you could be like, oh, I'm playing on my couch. I've got my phone charger right next to me. It fits in. They go
Okay,
and
we're
plug
gonna.
it.
I'm gonna keep us moving forward because we are starting to circle the drain. Because this is a point that's already been brought up. That's all, Fireball. I'm sorry.
Well,
Like it's
I'm
a point that's already
sorry.
been brought up because we're talking about third party and anything third party that is not Nintendo branded
I will
is
say this.
legitimately able to brick it. That's what
I
I'm.
have
That's what we
not
said.
heard like the last 5 minutes of the conversation because I didn't realize my headset came unplugged. So I was running diagnostic on why I wasn't hearing anything.
It was stated before that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna move forward from the Nintendo the thing because we've stated our opinions, and it's just as God's father said, it's a wait and see type of situation. Nintendo, for me personally, Nintendo has made the list. I will never be purchasing another Nintendo product again until they start to improve on their consumer, make become more consumer friendly. That is it. Like you gotta speak with your wallet, and my wallet's telling me Nintendo's gonna be a money fucking sink if I go that down that route, and I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah,
So
I'm not willing to
yeah.
do that either. We got any
So
other
in
gaming
terms of
news
other
before now?
topics, I do actually have a quite a bit. We have a ton of game releases. Uh, we have the Summer Game Fest that revealed a bunch of games coming out. We also have the Xbox showcase that came out and showed us a bunch
When
of
is that
games coming out.
showcase? Or did it already happen?
It
It's
already
happening
happened.
currently, or yeah, it's today. It's happening, quote unquote, happening, as in like it already happened. I think earlier
Well,
this
shit.
morning. But some notable games. I'll just list off some notable games. Resident Evil 9, or not 9? Is that 10?
Hey, you might want to
Yeah,
send
yeah.
you
Sorry,
might want to send a invite to Crest Rider. He's been waiting for quite a bit.
I wish I would have known for a hot second.
I
Yeah.
just looked down
Yeah,
at
we
my
would have brought him in. See, we need to get better at that fireball.
Okay, I was on. I had my
Listen,
comments up, looking at my comments.
it's not just you, Fireball. It is all of us. I'm gonna state it now. We should have probably just not invited him, considering it was last minute doing so in the first place anyway.
Yeah, but just want to get him up.
I'll bring him in.
I'm sending him the invite. Be patient.
Bring him in.
Um, but with that, yeah. So Resident Evil Requiem, made by Capcom, is coming out in 2026. Continuation of the games. It's possibly going to be a bridge between Code Veronica and another Resident Evil game. Mortal Shell 2, which is a Souls-like. It's a sequel of the first one, obviously. New weapon transformations, expanded co-op mode, stuff like that. Code Vein 2, which is another anime-styled Souls-like. That was actually pretty fun. Both of these games, by the way, are pretty fun. They're all pretty decent. This, it has branching storylines and more vampire lore, so that's gonna be cool. We have Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is a Guardians of the Galaxy style action RPG. Um, it's teased as a live service title with Thanos and Infinity variants, so that'd be pretty cool. Uh, Onimusha, Way of the Sword. It's a Capcom revival of a legendary samurai horror franchise. Cinematic swordplay and yokai based enemies. Ooh. Now we have some indies releases as well. Mouse PI for Hire, which is a Nor mystery platformer, which is, starring a mouse detective.
Hmm.
Cool, interesting.
Nice.
Fractured Blooms, it's a atmospheric puzzle exploration game with decaying art style, and unfortunately, it does have AI generated poetry. Uh, I say unfortunately because that just means that they didn't rely on actual writers to make this poetry for the
Well,
game.
I think that's going to be the way of the future.
It really is, and ugh,
I hate to say it. I really
I
do.
know. Dune Awakening, the PvPvE survival game, is launching June 10th. That is coming like right
Where the
now.
hell's Crush Rider?
He's
I don't know. I
coming.
sent him an invite. Oh, I had to come double back from my notes to look at the make sure he wasn't there.
He was backstage.
PlayStation's State of Play, which happened on the 4th. Um,
That reminds me.
we have Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. It's a remake of the PS1 classic with HD
Yeah.
2D art and full out voice acting, which is pretty cool. A new Metal Gear game, Metal Gear Solid Delta. Well, I say new, it's a remake, but it's new. It's a remake. It's a remake. Um, or is it? I'm reading this and it's not supposed to be a remake. Okay, it's cutscenes. Anyway, Silent Hill F, another Silent Hill game. It's set to release in 2026 at some time. It's set in 1960s Japan with fungus-based horror themes this time. We have Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, stylized cell shader fighting arena with obscure Marvel characters like Moon Knight and Nico Minora, and then Lumines Arise, a rhythm puzzle sequel set in a cyberpunk cityscape. Um,
Can I break in for a minute?
yeah,
So, for the first time since the PS5 has released, and granted, I don't pay attention to commercials often. Normally, these two will tell you whenever they're in the Shire with me, I skip over fucking commercials. I hate commercials. But I happened to be leaving a room today that had a TV on, and I saw the very first commercial for a PS5, and it just so happened to be airing not more than 10-15 minutes before we all three came on air. And I thought to myself, hmm, a little late, isn't it?
Hmm.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Like, I haven't seen much advertising for the PlayStation 5 after the great debacle of 2020, 2021,
I will
or
say,
21-22. I'm sorry.
I got two things that I found that I want to try to cover real quick.
I wasn't even done.
Oh,
Yeah, I still
Yeah, I
had
broke
other
in.
news.
oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Um, and Apple's dipping into the gaming industry as they always have been.
Oh.
Apple's gaming hub, they're making a unified gaming hub, syncing leaderboards, game news, achievements across iOS, iPad iOS, Mac OS, and Apple TV. They're adding support for cloud native games and side loaded titles on Mac. This is Apple's biggest push into a unified cross device casual and indie gaming discovery platform. So that'd be pretty neat, the that have another access of market towards even in the mobile sense, because mobile games are
Good luck
actual
to him.
games too. So they make money, so they're doing pretty well. Um, Update on the GTA 6 delay. Nothing big, super big, but just there's an estimate out there right now that's being pushed around a lot by Forbes and such. It's an estimated about $2.7 billion revenue delay uh, between multiple partners and platforms for GTA 6. Um, so this delay will shift interests and console momentum towards other titles like Elder Scrolls 6 and other releases, and even fucking could be
And talking about GTA
Xbox or
6 real quick,
PlayStation. So it's up in the
I
air.
saw something
Yeah.
talking about how, because they were talking about Red Dead 2 and GTA 6, and they said something about how they're not going to they're gonna keep the dual wielding in in Red Dead only. They're not gonna be bringing it over to a GTA title.
I'm fine with that.
Where did you see that at? I'm
Uh,
not questioning you, but I'm kind of curious because I want to look more into it
I
because
saw it.
I find that hard to believe.
I saw it over a few like game reviewers that I follow on TikTok and video game content creators, where they were told or they had saw that from like leaks or from something like that talking about how it won't have dual wielding and they're keeping the dual wielding only in the Red Dead universe. So
That's interesting.
you won't be able to dual wield the pistols like you can in Red Dead. They're just going to keep them in Red Dead because like they said, having dual wielding and
Okay, I misunderstood what you were talking about. Go ahead. I misunderstood it completely. I don't care about dual wielding. So please
yeah,
continue.
dual
I
wielding
thought it was
pistols
something else
in
completely.
2025, you know, it doesn't fit the aesthetics, so they were going to keep it. They were going to. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had a
You're good.
message come up. My chatbot is actually working, and somebody tried posting a link to something, and my chatbot was like, "Please refrain from posting links."
Um,
So
and other gaming news, because we always like to talk about, always like to keep it informed about things. There is a trial in France. A French court is hearing testimonies from former Ubisoft employees alleging years of bullying and sexual harassment by high level executives. The court described it as a turning point in the industry. The trial is part of a broader reckoning following persistent hashtag, Me Too era complaints in the Ubisoft hierarchy and whatnot. By the way, this is a just to give the source out for this. TheGuardian.com is where I'm finding this article currently. Um, in case people want to give it a look into themselves, but I did want to bring this up considering Ubisoft and their issues this
let
past
me ask
week.
this question.
Mhm.
Let me ask this question about this whole issue with Ubisoft and the France court and all these complaints. Okay. I am not. Let me make a very pointed disclosure here. I am not victim blaming anybody with what I'm about to say. In fact, if these are proven true, the courts need to drop not only a hammer, but a goddamn asteroid on. Okay? I want to make that very clear. I am not in any way victim shaming or blaming the victim. But here's my question. Why is it that they are just coming forward now?
Retaliation within the company.
Does France not have similar laws to America where if you are being sexually harassed or you're being bullied, which is a new thing in the workforce, is not new, but the protections are relatively new. Uh, do do they not have that protection in French workplaces? Like, if it was going on, it is completely wrong. And like I said before, they need to drop an asteroid on
So
whoever's at fault.
to give you
But
an
I'm
answer,
just
real quick,
curious because is it because their
it's the
employment is terminated
it's
and
the
under
power
French law
dynamic.
now they can go after them? I
It,
mean that's
so
I guess
so
that's what I'm
to
trying to find out.
to give you perspective onto to all of this, power dynamics play a huge factor in this. I mean, you're talking about women in a men dominated industry. So there's already a power dynamic there. On top of the fact, these are high level executives to just normal staff members. So again, not even just in the workplace, like it's workplace dynamics on top of just societal dynamics that play a factor into this. I mean, there these women have gone on record and been like, he was my superior. I was afraid of him. The one cited that as he made her do handstands, um, like forced her to do handstands, and no retaliation on her end came to him because she doesn't want to lose her job. That's how you make money. That's how you live.
So I get it. And again, I hate hearing shit like that. I really do. Now I'm curious. Now I'm going to go and do some digging into
Mhm.
French employment laws and see, and maybe it's because I've been sheltered my entire life with, and I'm not saying where I work at, but maybe it's because where I work at, this shit is not
Oh, that's
tolerated at all.
no.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
I
The
mean,
hammer
if
would
you
come
were to
down
go,
so fast.
yeah, if you were to go to EEO, or if you were to go to the agency that, or not agency, it's more like a department that deals with sexual harassment and sexual assault in the workplace, and you were to just utter any of these words against a boss or a supervisor, the supervisor would be gone before you even made it back to your work area.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, I am not blaming the victim, and I'm not shaming him. I am more interested in the French law and Ubisoft than I am doing that, because I want to know, is Ubisoft that soft that they don't have those protections in place? And
That's a
if
big
so, that
so
needs to be a high fine too.
so there's a big issue within the gaming industry of this happening. Happened with Activision Blizzard. We've seen that clear as day. So it is a problem within the gaming industry and
Hmm.
over everywhere overall. Like there are other industries that have these issues as well, but it's brought to light more so in the gaming industry because it's always in the news. Like it's always there. It's always forefront. There's so many people playing games and everything. But legitimately, the French laws are similar to, like, the UE's laws are similar to um, America's, and actually is actually a bit more strict than what America has in terms of like the workplace harassment and things of that nature. But it's
Well, I
just
hope they get what's
society,
coming to them. I really do.
societally, they should, but societally they are a bit like we're two completely different cultures, like France and America. I mean, all of the EU is different from even all of the other parts of the EU, right?
Well,
So they're the way that they have their culture set is different from ours, so maybe it's more acceptable in that
I'm
realm. Because
also
I
going to
don't
say
know,
this.
I'm not French, so I can't
I'm also going to
speak.
say this. Um, Maybe the union is a good thing in the gaming industry,
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
and you two know that because of some personal things that's happened to me, I'm not a big union supporter.
Hmm.
But maybe shit like this is why the union's needed in the gaming industry. And for me to say that, it says a lot.
Um, just so
I
that
want to
So
state real
for
quick
all
as
the
well.
victims out there that are in court over in France right now, just know God's Father's behind you, and I pray that you guys get the justice that you deserve.
all right.
Yeah, no, they do, because I want to say too. This is with 4 days of hearings from female former staff members. For
Go get them.
three senior game creators. By the way, these are
Go
just
get them.
yep. But anyway,
Well,
go ahead. What were you gonna
in
say,
in
Fireball?
in other news, try to pick up the ambiance just a bit. More exclusives are being traded amongst PlayStation and Xbox. I believe this was kind of already covered, but Black Myth Wukong is now making its way over to Xbox.
Hmm.
Um, I'm excited for that just because, you know, I want to see exclusives kind of be shared amongst player
Be a thing
bases.
of the past.
Hmm.
Be a thing of the past. I
Um,
hate exclusives.
However, I will. The other thing I want to talk about real quick is we all know that the Titanfall 3 got quietly canceled by EA.
The
However,
what?
Titanfall 3.
It did not quietly get canceled. It was never really in development. It got scrapped due to the fact that they wanted to make Apex Legends.
Hmm. However, I have seen something, and this is speculation. I haven't really seen concrete evidence of this, but title there's a title to a game that they're working on right now called R7. And from what leakers have found is that it is going to be like a Halo Wars styled Titanfall game.
Ah, I don't care then. I was like, "Ah, whatever. It's not a first person shooter like I want another Titanfall game.
I mean, yeah, but
Talking to me about RTS, I don't. All right, sorry, not to interrupt it. Like downplay it. That is still pretty cool information. Just get more, and then
I
their
know
entry into the lore of Titanfall
because
universe. So that's pretty.
apparently, and from what this article says, is back in 2023, they started working on it back in 2023 and it was canceled in 2024. And then now there's a leaked spin-off being worked called nickname R7. So
It's
it
interesting
might
you
All right. Well,
mentioned, because we are wrapping up. I do want to
I'm
give
gonna
some
break in.
No, we
I'm
got like
breaking
3
in.
minutes.
I haven't gotten to talk
This
that
is gonna
much.
have to wait for our next episode.
I haven't gotten to talk that much. Come on. Let me and Chungus have this little talk real quick.
I was just going to state, like, it's interesting you bring up this information because uh, there's a guy behind Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order who formed Giant Skull Gaming Company uh, alongside ex Respawn individuals. They secured a deal with the WotC Wizards of the Coast, and are developing a single-player Dungeons and Dragons action adventure title using Unreal Engine 5. Ooh.
That'll
Um,
be good.
Be cool.
but no, that's what I'm saying. Like they're bringing in these like Respawn. Some people, a lot of people left Respawn, or switching things out. People who had the passion for like the Titanfall 1 and 2. That's so good.
Well, and that's it.
Um, it's
It's
just like it brings me hope that these guys aren't just out of the industry as a whole. They are still making a comeback. If that,
well,
that's
and
where I'm like, yeah, it's
we've
good.
covered this before, but we're kind of in the era now where indie games are making a bigger prevalent and making a bigger like um what's the word? Making a better show for
Bigger and
themselves. Yeah.
yeah, because we have a lot of these triple A talent from these companies getting let go, and they're going and doing their own thing, starting their own stuff, and they're proving to them that, like, no, we had the passion, we're going to make the games that we want to make. And it every single time shows up and shows these AAA developers, that these companies specifically, not the developers themselves, but the companies specifically,
These AAA
that
companies.
they need to keep the passion there. When you start to try to monopolize everything, not monopolize, monetize everything, and then you lose the passion, and then you lose
Oh,
those
did
own
he freeze on
people.
your end?
Yeah, he froze on my end too. You're gonna have to re-say everything because you were like
Oh
this, stuff
no.
like this.
Yeah,
So
I would.
long
Yeah.
story short, a AAA companies need to realize that passion needs to be kept within the development studio. It just proves it time and time again. Like these
All right,
indie
we're out of
releases are
time,
great.
boys.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
We're out of time. Keep the list going for the next episode.
Yep.
So, before we go one on one for our outros, maybe we need to let Nomad Nation know the plans for the Nomad Gamers, because we did make a decision and we haven't said a damn thing about it on air.
Oh, we haven't
So
recorded since
I
then.
guess I'll do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Huh?
Go
We
ahead.
said we haven't recorded since then.
Nope. So here's the update for everybody. So the 3, 4, 5 nomads that we have with us, uh, we all made a decision that instead of recording twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays, that we are cutting Nomad Gamers podcast down to 1 day a week. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about off air is going to be the length. It might be getting longer for that 1 day that we're coming on air. However, this is going to put more pressure on you, the viewer, to go find us on our socials. Go find us on our live streams. Go over to our Discord and join the Nomad Gamers over there, and come find us in general audio 1, 2, or 3, whichever one of us three like to talk in. So, with that being said, come on over to Discord, see your favorite Nomad gamer. You don't even have to be playing the same game as us. You can be playing your own game and just come on over and just talk with us. So that is our big news. We're down to one recording a week. And to tell you the truth, as busy as this summer is for all three of us, it just made sense to do it now. Because
I
Lord
will
knows I'm
state.
busier than a one-legged man in an ass kicking contest.
I will state this that if you do want access to the Discord, they are available on my Twitch. It is available on my Twitch. It is available on my Instagram. Go to
There'll
my
be a
link.
link in the
hmm
description.
There will be a link
Boom.
in the
Easy.
It's
description
on
for
And
Nomad
then
everything.
Gamers
his. Yep.
Facebook.
Yep.
hmm If you want to join the
It's on all
Discord,
of our
that's
socials.
yep.
It's
That's
on
where
the
you go.
socials.
Yep.
Look for a link of the socials. Easy
Yep.
peasy lemon cheese.
All right.
Okay, so Chungus.
No.
Pick the first
Oh
person.
no, no, no. It'd be Fireball. Take us out of here. Oh, hello. Beautiful. That'd be me. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and it won't be up this upcoming Friday. I can tell you that now. I don't even need Thirsty Thursday for that. I will be streaming. Sometime today, I will be streaming Minecraft with Sweet Creddy Pie. Monday is going to be Fallout 76. Wednesday is going to be Grand Theft Auto 5. Talking Tuesday, we're going to talk about what we did this weekend. And then Thirsty Thursday, well, y'all know what's up. It's going to be going around the block and seeing what's going on with our favorite games. Next weekend, I'm unavailable. I will not be around from Friday to Sunday. So just mark that down as my vacation time. Other than that, that's all I got. Send it to the next Nomad.
Hey, so made that Dead by Daylight video. You can look for the link to it here. It'll pop up. You know, watch here. It's a pretty short video, so it's a nice little 9-minute video. Go and enjoy that. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I think it's very atmospheric. I am working on lore videos for some games that I've been trying to research into for a bit. Those are going to be at this to be announced at this point. Uh, these games have a lot to cover in terms of lore, in terms of like actually what is going on. So essentially, diving into each game is an undertaking. Unironically, didn't kind of expect that. I thought maybe I'm a lore master from Destiny. I could figure it. I can get around this. Some of this lore does not make sense for these games like Dead by Daylight. That shit confuses me. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird. Um, Games like Stardew, that's not that bad, but I'm getting long-winded. I'm being told to wrap it up. I'm getting gang signs thrown at
Golly.
me.
Golly. You want to talk about.
One more thing I forgot. 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 I'm sorry. I
You already
forgot.
gave me the camera.
I forgot. Okay, fine. I'll give you the camera and then I'll say it. Um,
You already gave me the camera, goddammit. Alright. I can't really say anything with Chungus, or with a Godfather chuckling like that. Um, don't expect any kind of live from me until around Tuesday afternoon. Um, I still got some personal stuff going on that I'm handling, and expecting for me to try to be streaming at least every day next week after Tuesday. So we'll try to get as much streaming in as we can while I'm still on vacation. You guys saw that, didn't you? Yeah, it's recorded. It's there forever. But that's it for me. I got really nothing else going on right now. They're just joking with me.
I mean, motherfucker. All right. Well, I guess I'll be the first one to do it. Peace and love. God's Father's out the door.
I'll see you guys later. This is Fireball signing out.
is that it? Did you have more?
I was gonna say, look at Chunkus's hair.
Oh yeah, I did something with my hair. This is Kaiser Chungus. Sayonara.